meeting to order. And the first order of business is the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First order of business is the agenda. Recommendation.
I'll make the second.
Have a recommendation and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Recommend approval of the minutes of the regular council meeting for June 21st. Everybody have a chance to read through those? Any corrections? Additions?
I'll make the recommendation, we approve.
Second. We have a recommendation and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Everybody have a chance. The next order of business is to the claims list for June 2022.
I'll second.
We have a recommendation and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. You review the accounts balances and financial statements for the general water sewer funds for June.
Make a recommendation to table for next week.
Second. We have a recommendation to table in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. To set the date of July 19th, 6 p.m. for public hearing on the proposed ordinance number 161, floodplain regulations. Anybody have any trouble with that date? July 19th, 6 o'clock. I imagine it's just before our next meeting.
Yeah. Okay. Just before the meetings.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, then we'll set the meeting for July 19th at 6 o'clock at a public hearing. I don't think we need a recommendation on that. We just set it, advertise it, then Cheryl.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Recommend approval resolution 2022-11, the election judges provided. Everybody got a look at them?
I'll make that recommendation.
I'll second.
We have a recommendation in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So carried. Just a reminder, folks out there, that the Ranier Council candidates filing is August 2nd through the 8th.
16. 8 to 8, 16.
So we're just going to move the meetings back 1 week.
What was that, Cheryl?
We're going to move the meetings back 1 week because we
No,
thought,
right now we're just talking about the filings for
The
the
filings are to the...
August 2nd to August 16th.
Okay, I got written.
The deadline is August 16th.
Okay. Anyway, so anybody interested in filing,
Two seats.
proceed. Who's up for election again? Wilbur and, okay. Have you guys expressed any interest in filing? Okay. Well, we'll see. All right. Recommend changing the August council meeting dates from August 16th to the 23rd because of the primary elections held on August 9th.
I'll make that recommendation.
Second. We have a recommendation and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Okay, the next thing is the June 2022 liquor statement. Jen? Yet another fantastic month. Making it hard to Any questions on the statements? How about you, any problems?
No, I guess basically we should probably look into that compressor that I talked about when we did our funding. It is hot out. I was able to get it frosted or defrosted or whatever and got that going, but I know we have the money and we should probably get that fixed before the end of summer.
I'd go ahead and get it fixed before Ranier Day.
What's the issue?
It's a compressor, it needs to be replaced.
It's a very old
Like
compressor.
30 years old.
Keeps the cooler
Yeah,
cold.
For the walk-in cooler.
I would say go ahead and get it fixed.
just go
I
ahead.
make a motion that she gets that fixed.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, so carried.
Any movement on the parking lot?
Not yet.
I got that written down. I talked to Dave Clement, who, when he paid this, they're going to be back early August, and he looked at it. We figured up a number. At that time, we'll see if it's how much it is
Okay.
and whether we decide to do it or not.
Okay. Yeah, we need the number.
We'll have a price then. So he's coming back early August to complete this. How much is the compressor?
It was, when we got an estimate, I believe it was 15 to 20, is that correct, Cheryl?
15 to 20,000?
Yeah.
Have you applied this year for LC, or not LC, I'm getting that in my head. KCDA money?
I have not. no.
We can, but we need to get the quote in our hands before we can apply for it.
And I can call the two guys from town to get the quote. The first quote that we got, the estimate, was from Derek.
Right, but we should see if you can get the KCDA money from, go and see Kyra at the airport.
Okay.
And
I've got- I know.
Or you have one, Cheryl?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay, and get that, and I attend those meetings, so we'll see if we can't get you $5,000 for it, so,
Yeah, that'd be great.
yeah. Okay, what schedule for, what do you have coming up? I know, obviously,
This weekend, we have our barbecue cook-off contest.
a what?
Barbecue cook-off contest, it's our fourth one now. It's probably become our second largest event for the Muni. So that's this Saturday,
Barbecue what?
cook-off.
It's a cook-off?
Yes.
So you barbecue anything you want?
Yep.
Are you looking for sides?
They usually have what, 15?
For what?
We got
Like,
10 or
are you
11
looking for food?
competitors.
Yeah, oh, sides, yes. Yes. And buffet pants are required.
Of course, we eat
Buffet,
see,
Yes, because you don't want to wear jeans to this.
I don't know,
You'll be
what,
full.
we ate it.
Yeah.
We eat the evidence too, right? Okay, and so that's good, that's great, that'll,
We've been very lucky with our distributors. They've thrown out a bunch of prizes, so everyone's going to go home with a prize.
when you say it's your second, what's your largest? I'm just-
Rainier days, by
Oh.
far. Yeah, yeah.
Sorry, I should guess that. Okay, well, any other questions for Jen?
No, keep up the damn good work.
Keep going.
Thank you.
Stay on top of things.
Yeah, we'll take it from there. And if you get that, then we'll get the application and we'll get it in for you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right?
I have a question. I know previous month we discussed the pay adjustment request from some of the bartenders. And then we had also discussed that the union rep needed to be involved in that. Do we know, like, has anyone reached out to him? And do we have any other updates on the process?
As far as I know, I'm not supposed to be involved anymore at this point.
Okay.
But you could ask the bartender.
Big Jamie.
Yes, yeah, but I'm not allowed to be involved anymore. Yeah.
All right.
They've not they have not contacted us yet, so we're open if they contact us. If not, we'll just stay the way it is. Okay, any other questions for Jen? No? Thank you, Jen.
Thank you, Jen.
Do we need approval?
A recommendation to
I'll make a motion to accept the Ranier liquor store operating
I'll
statement.
second that.
We have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
Can I get a clarification on, did we make a motion to buy the compressor?
We did.
Okay.
She's going to get 2 quotes over to see what best price and then also apply for a KCDA grant. Okay, next is Nick. He's not here. Okay.
We'll see you next week.
flood update, ongoing damage assessments. I believe, Cheryl, you attended the meeting where we're a little ways out applying for some of this stuff, but I think we're getting the ball rolling on trying to formulate a list on that. But
FEMA's gonna be here Monday.
who is?
FEMA,
FEMA, okay.
the meetings are gonna be talking with Willie Koscheck on Monday. He told me that today.
I've been reaching out to Willie to make sure that I'm in the loop, and he will let me know whenever they're gonna.
I would assume the meeting after Monday will get the ball rolling a little bit.
He hasn't, he told me that they were gonna be there Monday, but to meet with him. He didn't, so I haven't been,
Right.
You know, Cheryl,
I want to meet.
we want to stay on top of that. I think there's been several things that we've been left out on that I think is important to us, so I don't think he's purposely doing it, but he has a lot of things on his mind, but obviously FEMA's meeting here. We have our concerns for the city as the county does, and whoever else, private individuals, so if we can stay on top of it and get an audience with them, that'd be great. Well, move to other business then. A couple things. I've had ongoing conversations with Stacy Lyons, who's been really, she's been good. She's the public relations manager for CN.
Is that the lady that was here?
Yeah.
Yes, and she's been more than helpful. She's called me on weekends again, I told her a lot of ongoing concerns, and of course with the flood issues, there's more of them. And I think you're all aware of the letter we sent her, and so we said we definitely wanted to be in on some of the discussion before this final design is stamped, so that if some changes can be made or some. So they are coming to meet us, the head engineer and the project manager and Stacy and a whole troop are coming on either the 3rd or 4th of August. She's going to be in Duluth on August 1st, and she said it'd be real convenient if we could do it on the 3rd or 4th. So I don't know which day she'll call me tomorrow morning with either the 3rd or the 4th. She was checking with her team. So once I confirm that date, but it's one or the other.
so we need to advertise for a public meeting.
Yeah, we have to have a public meeting. As soon as you
If you're
find
gonna have a
date.
forum.
Yeah. If we're all here, we gotta have a public meeting.
I won't be here. It's on the 3rd.
But as long as we have a
Yeah, I think that's what we'll call it, public. She wanted to meet with the city, of course.
Yeah.
That was it. So, and discuss this, so whatever, if we have enough time to do
So
it.
Dennis, as soon as you hear that, Cheryl, and we can put that in the paper.
Well, I don't have to put it in the paper, I at least have to post it.
Post it, yeah. That'll be nice.
Yes, and let me confirm that date and everything with you, Cheryl.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure if it is a public meeting that she's wishing to do, or she's trying to just meet to do an informational meeting or something with the council or with a, or
Or just
whatever.
Let me find that out from her.
So I got to find that out from her.
Ask her, do we need to have a special meeting if you're coming?
Yeah, that's what I'll do tomorrow, okay? I'll confirm that. Okay, and on the other thing I think I discussed earlier with Cheryl, obviously the boat docking, but the boat dock project has been delayed, obviously for the flood, but with the water going down, from what I understand, about 3 inches a day. Now, on a day like today, that probably changed.
Yeah, today it changed.
I've talked to Cheryl about sending them a letter that we want all work completed, certainly complete before Ranier days, but there's not that much to do, and within a week's time, they could do everything that had to be done, so there's no reason they can't do the work, and obviously they're in liquidated damages, but whether we choose to assess them or not, they are prerogative, but they depend on how much effort they put into finishing up the project would be the consideration I would have. Anyway, sure we'll be getting a letter out to them. Any questions on that? Okay. Also, there was this excessive damage down that area to the primary dock down there and the roadway and everything else. And when Joe Sutherland was here, when they were doing the blacktopping, or going to do the blacktopping, he was going to get us a preliminary cost of basically from Bruggeman's property line all around up to about the end of Sharon Ball's property where it goes up the alleyway, kind of the horseshoe to reconstruct that and rip wrap that. That would be in the flood recovery project again that we're talking about, but he was already working on that. It just so happened to tie in with this other project, so I said get us a number on that so that we can look and see how it would coincide with the project we already have going on.
Was the county going to fix that alleyway that had been
He was going to check on that too. There was an approval, verbal approval from the county engineer to straighten out the pipe up to Sharon Ball's property and insulate it, take the bump out, insulate it so it wouldn't heave again. And so that's already been verbally approved, and Joe knew about that. So that's going to be in the existing project. Now, if there's a flood recovery project, where that gets put, I don't know, but it is going to be corrected at least halfway up the alley. And the county he was going to check with the engineer, the county may continue to, it isn't much farther where the culvert rises. It's deep enough that it don't cause any trouble. So hopefully that project is continued there. So.
Do we know when they're gonna start the bolt launch portion of the project?
The bolt
Well,
line.
I know, but like when they're gonna start
The
like
bolt line.
the actual,
The same one?
before Rainier days? The actual bolt launch?
Yeah, well, within a week, he should be able to start on that.
That's what you wanted to know. That's all part of that.
No, I know, I just meant like the actual, like when they start excavating along the water line is what I'm asking. When are they gonna start work at that point?
Well, at the time frame, is that what you're asking about? Well, that's what I just addressed Cheryl, telling them that the water is falling at a rate, according to people I've talked to, about 3 inches a day now. So within a week, that's 20 more inches,
So you're saying you said before Rainier days you wanted to see that complete?
Oh, I want to see it complete before Ranier.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. And within a week, it should be down to 20 inches, so they should be able to complete. Because really what they have is a bulkhead that they have to build that the dock attaches to, which is just a 6-foot square block, basically, and the dock attaches to that. Then there's concrete planking that goes in alongside the dock that they put out in the waterway, which they can do that with an excavator, so they should be able to achieve that, and of course then the blacktop could go up against the concrete bulkhead, and so that could be improved and completed. There's no reason it can't, if it goes down 20 inches, they should be able to do it. And that's what the letter is going to say. Cheryl will draft it up and we'll get it out to them. Okay, that puts us out. Any questions for the audience? It's open forum. That's it?
Oh,
yeah.
I'm new.
You're new?
Yeah, so Mark UCF.
You didn't look like John Brugman in a lot quieter. So I know you were new.
So I'm just curious about what's available to the residents. So we have a secondary house here on 46, live in Chicago, and just flew in for our cleanup at our house here. I know I've talked to Cheryl, she's been extremely helpful and getting information. And I'm just curious, well, we want to make sure we're not missing any steps or what avenues are available for the residents. I know Cheryl indicated we went down and talked to the Red Cross and the Salvation Army, but because it's not my primary house, we're not eligible there. And I just saw the news on Duluth Center coming down here, and they were telling people in St. Louis County that they have to report all their damage by this Friday before any kind of federal or state programs kick in. I just don't know, do we mean something to someone, does that have to be?
See, what's
some record?
confusing is that the politicians are saying that, but that's not what the people on the ground are saying.
Okay.
The politicians are saying something, but the FEMA people and the people that work for the county aren't saying that. So I don't, there's a disconnect between
Okay.
what's being
Yeah, that's it.
put out there as to what
I
is
still think
really
it's a wait and see.
happening.
It's coming up.
Well, I would definitely document everything that you
Yeah.
have, document it. Take pictures, lots of pictures, video of everything and document, and wait, because they're gonna come up here, the county is working on an idea for mitigation after the flood, and they're trying to get an engineering firm to help set up the idea of how we're gonna do this. We gotta come up with $9.25 million worth of damage, even to be eligible for FEMA help, which I don't think is gonna be a problem.
They can reach that.
The whole area will reach it. But as far as having a FEMA guy coming around, inspecting your damage, it could be a long time, and by then the water will recede, and a lot of people are gonna have their, already start repairing it. So my suggestion would be is to photograph, video, all the damage you have, keep track of everything, a list until that day comes.
So nothing needs to be reported by Friday?
No.
Not with us, no.
Okay.
Well, hence the idea that the FEMA's going to be in here on Monday, so it's just another thing that we want to talk to them, and they have some information. I personally have dealt with these floods for the last 25 years, not just in this town, but multiple towns. And I do know it takes some time, but once the designations from FEMA and the State Recovery Acts are in, then the documentation and individuals will be submitting. We went through this, 14 also, where the city recovers it. But there is a standard, and that's probably Willie Koscheck. Maybe, would you recommend going to him for the information you're asking? Because he's the
That's-
emergency man.
He's the one that's in charge, yes.
Yeah. So Willie Koscheck can probably answer your questions. Like I said, we've been through it, we kind of know how it's going to work. And once we get the designation, and then we're allowed to submit, basically like an insurance claim.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have the documentation, and they can, with satellites and digital, all they have right now, they can probably look at what your place was the day before water came up and what it was the day the flood was the highest. And I'm sure they have all that ability with the satellite imagery and Google Earth and everything they have at their disposal. And so they'll be monitoring all these claims that will be coming in. But they are set up to do that.
Okay.
But the time frame, I'm not totally set up with or anything. So Willie can probably help you with that more than anything.
Okay. Okay.
Any other questions? Well, go ahead.
But the communication's coming from Ranier, as far as like, when you guys run deadlines, will be communicating to us? Please make, okay.
We are here to assist our citizens, you know, and we'll tell you what we do know.
Okay.
And we have to take care of the entity itself, but, you know, and you'll have to do the submission of your personal properties, but any information that we find out, and once there's a process, we'll try to spread the word.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a recommendation, a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you.